The lady over here in the flower, can you see your manifesting? Yes. Last night I was cleaning under my kitchen sink and it really needed it. And I was sitting there listening to something on YouTube, and this one woman, there was a panel of something, and this one woman was Miss Idaho from 1963. Another woman on the panel was Miss Florida from 1957. And I said, I want to win a beauty pageant. I want a crown.
Okay, so I'm going to say my joke again. They're not strippers. No, you should be like, oh. That's why I get it. These are men that have really impacted my life in one way or another. Last time was so caliente that I wanted to bring this man that really have had an impact in my life that it's, anyway, you'll see. So I've been seeing Kell in the table. I've been seeing Kell twice a week in his office. If you know me, I've done every single crazy technique therapy, like looking for that ocean to part and like confetti and unicorns and all that stuff. And you know, I've always felt a little still fucked up. And going to Kell was like, I had seen him in so many pictures. He was fucking everywhere in New York. And before I knew what he was doing, I was like, I gotta work with that guy. And I was like, hello, you don't even know what he does. So when we met, I was like, I think I gotta work with you. And it's hard to explain what he does. I don't really know what he does. Really, I have no clue what he does. It's magic. The first time I went to him, I got up from the table, and I've never done drugs, but I feel that this is how people feel when they do drugs, because I felt like I was floating down the street, and I want to be a little more concise with the results, not only that feeling. What? It's crooked? Okay. For this event, whoever was here last year, for the last one, everything fell apart. People like my caterer canceled last minute. For this one, my amazing photographer, Carmen couldn't make it, and my other left hand couldn't make it. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, I went to Kell, and I felt like something lifted, and I was like, you know what, everything's gonna work out, and everything worked out, but I don't know if I'm doing it justice. All I can tell you is like, sometimes I feel that I'm Beyonce. I feel like J-Lo. And then like people are like coming at me and things, and he's like going like this. Like opening the space for me to just be. I think that that's a better way to explain it. So I have some questions here. I'm gonna read because if you, as you can see, if I let go, I'll be asking inappropriate questions, and we want to stay focused. So, and then Brett, I met him at a dinner party, and he told me he was vegan, and I was like, if he hates it, I do that. So we had coffee. I don't know why I said yes, because I was like, oh, this is just not for me, what he does, so many misconceptions. And he switched something. I'm a money mindset coach. What he does is, I would say that the practical thing, the way that he does it, every time I talk to him, he opens my mind. I'm like, oh my God, that's the key to manifestation. Like you talk about manifestation, that the clarity that you get by talking to him and working with him will make you money. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking that my clients, before they work with me, they should work with him, so they have a clear plan of what they need to do and what they want in their lives. So life-changing, 100%. And Nabil, I was like, oh, I want another guy because my other guy couldn't do it. So I asked around who's an amazing coach for women, and so many people said Nabil. And now I know, because after talking to him, he is into the feminine way of coaching. And how beautiful to have a man coach you that way, a man that understands that. I think that that's a winning combination. So that's why I have them here. Oh, what's a red light?
So, have you ever gone through life thinking you have like a plan of how things are going to look and turn out, and all of a sudden you meet somebody at the right place at the right time? Here we are. So, what I do, I went off to grad school to become a chiropractor and to help people doing traditional statcraft called chiropractic. Always had something in my heart of wanting to serve. While I was there, I had a life-transforming experience when I experienced the work that I now do. It's something called network spinal analysis. 30 years ago, it was a chiropractic approach. But since then, it's evolved so much more. Because as we go through the road of life, every one of us hits bumps. And every time that happens, our bodies freeze in fear, fight, flight, right? There's a lack of safety. Has anyone here felt unsafe or uncertain in their life? How many women felt unsafe or uncertain this week? Today? Well, wouldn't you like to feel more certainty and more safety within your own skin and your body and feel open, safe enough to be open, safe enough to be vulnerable? How many women here would like to have more passion, more creativity in their life? Right? How would you like How awesome would it be to be able to feel inside that deep sense of knowingness that you're enough? Who wants more love and connection? Who wants to know what their unique gift is that they're here to give to the world? And the connection that binds all of us together and to serve and contribute more. Well, those are the 6 human needs, and I help you to fulfill those needs if they haven't been met or you have difficulty fulfilling them in your life because they show up in your body as tension. And I'm able to read those tension patterns through this step-by-step, evidence-based, research-based. It looks wacky as shit, I know it, but it works. I'm able to help you turn your pain into strengths and turn your strengths into gifts so that ultimately you can live the life that you came here to live. And that's what I did.
He does so well. Okay, Brent. So you and I, we know that, and we all know that they didn't teach us about money in school. Like we didn't hear the word money. And as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we start this business, and then we're like, fuck, I gotta get paid, I gotta charge, I gotta do this, and money confronts us in so many ways. Some of us, now organized ones, we have an Excel sheet, we use FreshBooks, QuickBooks, but what else can we do in order to grow our money faster, or like to be responsible about our money? Because I know that you know that we can do so many more things. So tell us a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's a great point that there is no education. There's not a formalized education when it comes to personal finance. So we're really left to make decisions based on the conversation that did or did not happen around our dinner table when we were kids or growing up, based on the media, based on some source that is not scientific, that's not evidence-based. And so, even if we are, as entrepreneurs, if we are taking actions and we are trying to be responsible by QuickBooks and Excel worksheets, there's still a greater context to what we're actually creating line items about. So you may think, okay, I'm writing down all my expenses, and this goes back to something Paul shared with websites. You don't think about, a lawsuit. When you're starting a business, it's like, let me grow my business, let me be really passionate and share and, and really create clients. But you don't think about, what can be a roadblock? What can be an actual obstacle that can take that whole business, everything that you put your net knowledge, your energy, your soul into, what can actually impact it financially? So there is a bigger context around money, more so than just kind of creating that structure with Excel. It goes beyond the structure. It goes into accountability. It goes into actually creating guidelines to money. Like, did anyone take a class that taught them, how much they should be saving out of each paycheck? No, but we take a class, in theoretical things. So these are some of the guidelines that I got trained in, and I had no idea about. I've been in finance since 2007. I worked for a great asset management firm, and none of this was taught there. It was all about investments. It was all about getting a rate of return, and that's something that will make no impact on an entrepreneurial's life if they're not actually getting back to the basics and learning something that was never even taught in the classroom.
Like what? Like one thing that he told me that I was like, what? I mean, maybe I'm the only one, but this is an example. Like you talked about the rates, you know, like when you don't consider that in your Excel sheet. Tell us about
Yeah. So it's like, you know, you could have all your line items, and it could be student loans, you know, and 8% on my student loans, and you could have your American Express bill and 17% interest rate, and then you could be putting, you know, $5,500 into your IRA, or, you know, doing a SEP, and these are retirement vehicles, right? So I hate acronyms, I'm sorry. Individual retirement accounts, and you can not even realize, well, you're putting money into this retirement account that you can't touch until you're 60. That's locked away, that you're actually deferring taxes to a later period, and then you're paying 18% on your credit card, right? So a lot of times, and you know, I see this all the time, it doesn't click for people. Well, why don't I take that $5,500 and try to pay down some of that 17% interest rate, rather than putting all that money towards something that I can't touch for 30 years? You know, I actually rather see business owners take that money, put it back into their business, than, you know, trying to feel good that they're saving for retirement because they're putting money into a vehicle that, you know, they can't access for a long period of time. Is that what you were?
Yeah, isn't that like huge? Like, how the hell would I know that? You know, like it's yeah. Okay, we got my point. Thank you, Brett, for that. It's huge. Okay, Nabil. So you work mainly with women entrepreneurs, and I'm so curious about knowing what is the feminine approach for you? Like, how does that work? What are the benefits? Tell us all about it.
Sure. Yeah. So how many of you are nurturers? People who nurture? So the feminine approach is a more nurturing approach. It's an approach that is more about being with people, with others, with yourself, rather than doing. And so what I find, even with my current clients, sometimes I'll go into the do mode. It's how, you know, you were speaking about it earlier. It's just, we have this societal trend. It's a very masculine approach, very do oriented. But it's also important, it's as important to allow space for being. So what I would ask all of you to consider, to take away is, what are you doing versus who are you being? So if something comes up like, today I want to create X, how about take on, I am creativity? I want to love more, I am love. Who are you being in your lives?
Juicy. Kell. So again, what he does is a mystery. But I know one thing. Tony Robbins is a fan, and I know another thing. Kell, Dr. Kell, has touched Tony Robbins, has worked on his technique. So tell us a little bit about why he loves it, and just tell us.
Sure. So I discovered I had this transformation the first time I received this work from the founder of the technique from 2001 when I was a student. A couple years before that, mega coach Tony Robbins, everybody's familiar with who he is, right? I mean, there's enough coaches in here. He's the guy who coined the term life coach. He's helped millions of people literally around the world. Well, the guy who developed the technique that I do and Tony met, became instant best friends and had a soul recognition with each other. So our work is melded and distilled into each other's world. So I mentioned the human needs that we all have before. When they show up in the body, what's happened to be this guy who's developing this approach was able to identify these things cross-culturally. It's common to all human beings. And so now Tony Robbins, he calls this work one of the most powerful sources of transformation he's ever seen or experienced in his life. He's a powerful dude. He calls it one of the top 3 influences on his life. He doesn't fly anywhere in the world without one of our practitioners there tuning him up morning, noon, and night at his events backstage. Because he knows what it's like to keep the peak state. He has a high standard to serve you guys and all of us. And so I had the honor to, he wrote a book this last spring. He was in town, he did 57 press interviews in 3 days. And so I got the call from his handlers, and they say, can you take care of Tony tomorrow morning at 6:10? I'm like, yes. Hell yeah. We'll be in New York. I pull into there, put out the table, and it's like, he's just waking up. right? He's a big, huge bear giant of a guy. I put him on the table and start working on it. He's like, man, it's good, it's good. Could you come back 5 more times in the next 3 days? I'm like, Tony, I'm sorry, I have to tell you, no, I have to go home with my family. so anyway, I ended up working with him. And the third time, I'm working on him, and it's at the end, and he goes from like on the table, just like moving energy and stuff like that, to this blissful, just a sacred, sacred moment. And there's something else that he's involved in, I'm involved in, called the Oneness Blessing, or Diksha Blessing. And so I work on him, I have him sit up, put this, I give him, share this blessing with him. And just then his wife Sage comes out around the corner in the bathroom, and she's like, Tony, look at him. Looks up, looks at his wife, looks back at me, and we lock eyes and have this really sacred moment. And his wife says, look at him, it's one less. And I just about burst. I mean, just is like. So Tony's been a huge major influence in my life. Diksha's been a huge influence in my life. And the work that I do obviously has been a huge influence in my life. And so Tony's message, I mean, my values, my highest value is growth and contribution and love. These are the top three. And that's what I know that my soul's here to do and create more of it. Because the world needs love and our best version of ourselves more than ever. My personal belief is that we are at a very precarious tipping point, humanity and the planet. And for those of us who are here on our paths, it was like, you know what? When the world needs us, we'll be here. I will be on that transition team. And so my job from my heart, my soul mission, as I understand it, is to help everyone else go out there and be bigger ripple makers in your lives. And the more of us we can do this, the more we can raise this consciousness, because literally we are going from this masculine, domineering control thing into more of the divine feminine. And so I'm able to help you embody that on all levels, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So ultimately, you can do and be the soul and give the gifts that you came here to give to this world that needs to be together.
All right.
I love that we're in this feminine energy, but we're humans, so it's not only a feminine energy, right? We have to have that masculine energy, and I love that Brett brings that into this space. Yeah, I mean, we need him. Without him, it's not complete. I mean, you talked a little bit about lawsuits, and when I started this business as a health coach, I never thought, who in the hell was going to sue me? I'm too cute to be sued. But they made us take insurance. And then I just had a meeting with a lawyer, and she's like, do you have insurance? I was like, no, I'm not health coaching anymore. And she's like, you need insurance. So, as entrepreneurs, we can get sued. What else is, I mean, I hate to be scary, but we need to know this stuff to protect ourselves. What else is out there?
Sorry.
What else is out there that we need to know as entrepreneurs?
Yeah, it's a great point. Look, when you're starting a business, really, most people I sit down with that are entrepreneurs, the last thing they want to think about is, the concept of insurance or protection. It's kind of like, all right, next, let's get through this. Let's talk about how you're going to help me make money. That's the sexy conversation. Not insurance, not liability, not LLCs, all that stuff you kind of want to roll over. But the issue becomes, those things do exist, and they do happen to business owners, right? Someone earlier mentioned, when Paul was up there, about getting hacked. Someone may say, yeah, it's not going to happen to me. Well, no one thinks it's going to happen to them until it actually happens to you. So the empowering context around insurance and protection is it kind of allows you to do what you do best, which is run your business and not worry about those things that could have a detrimental financial impact on your business. So what are those things? Well, how many people in the room have insurance on their cell phone? Raise your hand.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so a quarter of the room, probably more, have insurance on their cell phone. Well, how many people in the room have insurance on your income, on your ability to run your business? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So people whose hands are raised, what kind of insurance do you have on your income?
Life insurance.
You have life insurance on your income, okay. Health insurance on your income. Someone said health insurance, okay.
Business interruption.
Business interruption insurance, okay. I haven't heard of that. I got
I have business interruption insurance as well.
Business interruption insurance, okay.
And variety of other insurance to have a retail outlet. So
Okay.
too much insurance.
So exactly, there are a lot of insurance policies, so it's kind of like, which are the important ones, which are the critical ones? Well, if you think about it, the time, the energy, the knowledge, the investment, all the stuff that you put into your business requires, for 95% of the business, it requires you to be there. It requires your effort, it requires your time, it requires your energy. So if something actually happens to you, the source of your business, it could totally be interrupted. Your whole business could be interrupted. So there are some specific insurance policies that actually protect you against that threat, getting sick or hurt. That's not health insurance. That's not business interruption insurance. It's, there are some specific policies that we could, talk more about. One other threat is the threat of not saving enough money, right? So just like if something happens to you, if you're not, you have a bad month, you don't have clients coming in, you're not, I guess the masculine thing, generating business and getting clients. How do you manage these when you gotta pay? You gotta pay for certain things in your business. Where is that cash flow coming? Who is actually helping you to look at your overall picture and find places and create good habits that you could actually start saving money? It's, when we start business, we don't think about that. We think about getting to that $1 million number. We don't think about, wow, we're actually growing. Just like we're paying our rent, we're paying ourselves in the form of savings, in the form of cash to our own balance sheets.
I love that. And you said it's not so sexy, but it's something that it's absolutely needed. A responsible entrepreneur thinks about those things. Okay, Nabil, tell us a little bit about what you do and what's your stand? What do you stand for?
Awesome. So what I stand for is for people, for all of you, to be on purpose and living the lives that you truly want to live. I want you to feel freed up. I want you to feel lit up and be able to take your businesses, your lives, your relationships, wherever they want to go.
I love that. He wants you to have a turned on life.
Yes. I turn you on.
That's a great. Okay, Kell. So Lauren the other day asked me, so what? I was like, I'm amazing, and she was like, well, give me more specific results, and I'm like, so can you tell us like shifts that your clients have had that are specific?
Absolutely. I had this experience right after I came back from this mind-blowing, transformational first experience that opened up my heart and soul. Literally. I'll start with myself, tell you, I'll tell the story. I'm on the table with the guy who invented the work for the first time. And I was in just this really dark place at that point in my life. This is family things that were going on. And I get on the table, and within just a few seconds this guy working on it, it was like the veil parted. I saw myself on stage in front of thousands of people, serving them at a high level, and the message I got was this booming voice that said, this is why you're here, this is what you do. And that just opened me up. The very next day, a friend of mine said, hey, can we share what this stuff is? Can we work on it? I said, sure. So she's laying on the table, and she starts to have this big catharsis, like just pouring her eyes out the table. And for me, being brand new at this, I'm going, shit, this is the new notes. So I just put my hand on my heart, just put my hand on her shoulder, just recognize the sacred moment, just like projecting love, safety, I'm here for you, I got you. And for her, she was on a table, and all of a sudden, she created this, through the work, created safety within her body that she went back and relived the most traumatic experience of her life. When she was a little girl, her older brother was her hero, and she just worshipped and adored this guy. And when he was 15 years old, he became a full-blown heroin addict and committed suicide with a shotgun. This poor little 6-year-old girl was the one who found her brother's body. You can only imagine the trauma and devastation. Now, I know none of this. This is my buddy from class, by the way. So she sits up off the table after she's crying and just glowing. And so she tells me the story, and she says, while I'm on the table there, all of a sudden it was like, I saw the whole moment, I relived it, and for the first time since that day, I forgave him, and I was no longer sad. Now, I never saw that going snap, crack, pop on somebody's back. And so it was such a pivotal moment. I was like, that's what I want to do for people. So I've helped people, really what I help people now do, what my gift is I'm able to help people like really align with what's in here. Like, what's your call? What's your one purpose that's such a fulfilling draw that just pulls you into just sharing that gift that you have, that unique specialness with others. So I've had people laying on the table and they pop and go, I know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, cool, what's up? I'm going to set the foundation in Haiti for young women to become business owners and entrepreneurs so we can transform our country. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll see you Tuesday. So we have some pretty wild, crazy things like that sometimes. Some of the more simple and pragmatic things are, when I help your body like connect through safety, you have more life force, you have more chi flow. What's that mean? When you get out of the fence, you get more peace and safety. The better version of you shows up. You feel more open, you feel more enlightened. Your body language shifts. People are nicer to you as a result of that nonverbal communication, that vibe and message you're putting out there. You sleep better, you have better energy, you're more in tune with your body and its needs. That's just right off the bat in the first few visits. Then all of a sudden you're just able to connect to those emotions, the stuff that you've stuffed down or held within, it's just too overwhelming or whatever, you just couldn't deal with. Now all of a sudden you're able to start to connect with those emotions safely and transform it from emotions that are blocking and holding you back in life that are fear-based into the more emotions that are like go emotions that pull you towards the actions you want to take, towards the goals and dreams and vision you have for your life. Sometimes it's helping people just break through the limiting beliefs and bullshit that they've been telling themselves from where they've gotten hurt in the past. So just raising your standard, creating your story, not even going to like a better place on the map you already have, but going to a new freaking map. How about writing your life and who you are here? So some of the other tangible benefits I help people with is they're off their medications. They don't need to take sleeping pills, antidepressants, muscle relaxers, painkillers, Advil, whatever. Their body just works better. So those are just some of the few things. But everything I do has been researched through PhDs and MDs in medical colleges and universities. And what they found consistently is when you do this process, you get better at doing you. You make better, more informed choices, because that's what wellness and well-being is, the ability, it's in the power to make better choices in your life and match who you are, what you want, and are aligned. So if you're driving down the highway of life, you got one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, I can help you take your foot off the brake and get clear about where you're going.
Awesome. Was that tangible enough?
I also had a conversation with Kell last week. I was like, I need tangible things. Come on now.
Okay, so Brett, I am selfish. So one of the reasons I asked you here is because I want to have in my hand $500,000 in 3 years. What do I have to do? I mean, one of my conceptions is that you're going to tell me, don't do that program that's $15,000. Don't do this, don't do that. Is that something like that I have to do to have my $500,000 in my hand?
It's funny you say that. When I started this business, I had friends they thought that's what I did. So like when we'd go out to the bar, they were scared of getting drinks, that I was gonna say to them, hey man, take it easy, you're spending way too much money on a Saturday night. And I'm like, so I totally understand that being a fear and a concern around getting financial advice. It's like, I know it's something I should be doing, just like I should be eating veggies, but this other thing looks a lot more tasty. So let's bring it back.
It's vegan.
Sorry, yeah, I like that. All right. So, yeah, it's really not about telling you what you shouldn't do when you're seeking financial advice, when you're working with someone. I really think it's really about stepping back. We're moving really so fast. You're like 500,000. There's so many actions. You talk about doing. There's so much I have to do to get to that point. And a lot of us actually don't stop, slow down, and really let's look under the trunk of our personal finances, of our business finances. Let's actually step back and get clear. And I know for a lot of us, even when I started this business, it was confronting. I'm like, well, I'm learning all this good stuff, but I don't want to look at my own balance sheet. I have to build my own business. So I actually hired someone in my own firm, a colleague of mine, to help me with that. Because it's really about, once you get that out and you get out all the stories you have about your money and not being able to get to the $500,000, and then talk about results, we put it onto, we have a game board, a financial game board, which we put our money onto, and you get clear, and then you know, okay, this is where I have to go. This is where I am right now. This is the gap. Now I know where I have to go. So we guide you. There are 15 rules of financial balance, is what we call it. I like the word guidelines rather than rules. But these are guidelines to kind of help our clients really acquire that wealth. And let me tell you something. A financial advisor is not going to make you rich. All right? That is not the purpose of a wealth manager or a financial advisor. That's your ability in your business. You are the greatest asset in your own business to generate income. It's the advisor to kind of help you hold on to that money and really get to that. Because there are people that make $500 or $1 million, but they spend all of it. And it's gone the next day. So it's like, where is the wealth? There is no wealth. You gotta actually take some of the wealth back and put it somewhere. Put it under your mattress, but put it somewhere. Right? So
Well, I love that you said that because I pick my nail polish based on names that turn me on. This nail polish, big spender. So one question, another one, is do I have to be a billionaire or millionaire to work with somebody like you? Like, who works with you? Like somebody normal like me? I mean, I'm not normal, but somebody like entrepreneurs that are maybe living paycheck to paycheck, and they work with you?
So raise your hand in the room if you think that you need to get to like $1 million to actually hire a financial advisor or someone to help you with your money. Okay. So Lorena's the only one in the room.
$1 million.
When you have to have $1 million. Mediocre when I work. Yeah, that's a misconception.
Okay.
I always, and I know that's a misconception.
Yeah.
But that's the thought that goes in my mind when I think of hiring a financial advisor. How am I going to find a good one with the minimal income I have? And that's the anxiety I have as a business owner.
Yeah. So thank you for being honest. Because I think my industry has created some mystification around financial advice. Because and the reason why it's like $1 million is because it became a game around how many assets under management can we take in and make a fee on in order to service someone. So if that's your compensation structure, it only makes sense that you would want someone who has $250,000, $500,000, $1 million to work with, right? I would argue, to the contrary, if you actually switched the game, because that's not the game that I'm in, if you switch the game to let me actually help people get to that point, right? Help them save money, you will actually do better for your own business. 5 seconds?
No.
Okay. Do better for your own business, but you would actually do better. You would do better personally with your own home. Can I answer your question?
I don't know, I'm a but the one thing that I know one time you talked to me about is that, you create, everybody knows that to manifest you need what? Clarity, right? Like being 100% clear. And that's what you do, you pick the picture. Not like the picture, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, but the picture of like, this is your reality. Counting, the nail polish and counting the interest rates and counting stuff that you maybe don't know or don't think about. So based on that space, you can make decisions. So that's why, even if you're living paycheck to paycheck, working with somebody like him makes sense. I wanted to ask you something else, but I totally forgot about it. So I'm going to just Nabil. Did that make sense? Like what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right? Okay. So Nabil, I am very curious to know. I'm fascinated. There's a man that's taking this feminine approach to coaching women. Like, what's your number one advice? Like, what's it that you would say to somebody that maybe is starting a business or thinking about starting a business or has started a business and the business is not going that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So the thing that I would recommend for entrepreneurs, so people who want to start a business, or as you said, have started a business, is validate your idea. And what validates your idea? Can anyone answer that?
Going to see Brad.
Money. Money validates your idea. So whatever business that you start or whatever idea that you're wanting to manifest, get paying clients. That should be your number one focus. So it shouldn't be the website, the marketing, the blog, all that stuff can wait, as long as you have to be in service of getting the money validation. The quicker you do that, the less headache you'll have in the long run, and the faster you'll be able to get off the ground.
Thank you. Okay, last question. Kell, tell us a little bit about your kind of like your unique gift to the world, like, because this is very unique. Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So I had this mind-blowing experience 2001 October, and since then I've done this procedure with people. Like, I've logged over 90,000 sessions with people, and so throughout that time, like, I've just developed these gifts of like just awareness. And one of the gifts I've just discovered the last like year or so is like, I'm like the entrepreneur soul through a whisperer. Like, I have people, mostly women, like I'd say probably 85–90% of my practice, they only times women. And almost all of them, either they have gone and done what mom and dad or what other people thought would be good for them to do. They did the right thing, you know, and just it was either in the corporate culture or whatever, just dead on the inside, just unfulfilled. And so I start to see them, they tell me there's this drain in their life. And as we start working together, they find their purpose. They find that one thing that's just like, yes. Or I meet people that have already taken that route, and all of a sudden all their patterns from the past have right there in their face, and now they're going, shit, this is how this is supposed to work out. So I'm able to help them clear those patterns. But yeah, I really feel that my mission and purpose is to help the people who are going to help change the world. And that can be in just your world, within your family, the world within your business, your service, your charity, whatever it is you give. Or it can be the next Oprah Tony Robbins hybrid or Marianne Williamson, I don't know. But that's what I help people do, is just align with what's really in here, whether you know or not from here. And then just help you optimize all these different areas of your life, so your life doesn't require as much effort. You can be more aligned, more in the flow. So instead of like a light bulb that gives its light off in all these different directions, we're talking about a laser sharp focus. So you can just be more efficient and effective and just better at doing the work.
Awesome. And I can attest to that. Okay, so Brad, we've been making you the masculine guy, but I know that you have your other side too. You know, there's a lot of shame in money, right? Like how you spend money, how you not save money, how you don't make enough money. There's so much, like your value, your work comes from money. How could we make this experience of working with somebody like you pleasurable? How could it be not just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, I want you to know that I spend too much money in shoes. Which is true. And seriously, for me, it's like a little shame. I come from a family where, anyway, so there's a lot of shame, and anyway, tell us.
Yeah, look, I think the critical aspect, just like probably most of the businesses in here, are who you work with. It's the person you work with, right? You really need to hire or work with someone that you feel that safety with, right? That you feel that comfort with, that you feel that non-judgment with. Because, you know, I was having some great conversations earlier, and someone's like, I finally opened up, I finally became vulnerable around my money, and I shared something I would have shared with no person. And then the person didn't even call them back, or didn't even have a conversation with them, right? And, you know, so it is a, you know, I think in this country, it may be different elsewhere, it is a vulnerable conversation to talk about our personal finances. So, you know, I think that is the critical aspect. If you want to make it fun, work with someone who's fun, right? Work with someone who is, you know, I don't think it's actually so complicated, the game of money and personal finances. I think it's made to be so complicated, but it doesn't have to be. There are some simple habits for you to create. There's some clarity for you to fulfill on. But if you could create that, you know, I don't know if accountability, masculine, feminine, whatever. Accountability is the right word, but you know, that accountability really, really helps. And that's why I hired someone. It's like, whoa, you do, I thought you know about this stuff. Well, there's still a lot of stories I have, you know, about money, right? So I'm going to manifest those in my conversations with people if I'm not actually getting the help and the support from someone else. So that's what
Yes, and you've noticed that I'm a little bit of a hot mess. I'm all over the place, and I want to be free like the wind, dangerous like the ocean. That's a song in Spanish. Luis Miguel, nobody. But I read something actually yesterday, and I don't remember, but it says something like, for freedom, if you want to be wild and free, you need structure. And it hit me, you know, that when I'm at my best is when I have structure. Even though I'm like, you know, let's just like do whatever, let's go with the flow. And one thing that you do with your clients, you have like games and you have like a chart, like some program, that technology that helps you keep accountable and have fun. And like once you reach your goal, there's celebrations. Just a little bit short.
No, sure. Yeah, so it is counterintuitive. It's like structure that takes away freedom and independence, right? But you know, my clients have actually experienced the opposite because you know we have a tool called the Financial Balance Scorecard, right? So it's colorful, it's fun, it's red, yellow, green to kind of tell you how you're doing. You know, really to keep it simple and light. So you know, and that's the structure. There's guidelines, like I said, there's 15 guidelines to financial balance. So we'll actually go through each of those, see how you're doing, right? Wherever you're at, it's okay. There are a lot of other people that are probably better or worse than where you are. That's another thing I find a lot. Like people will share with me things, think they're the only one dealing with this financial issue. And they don't realize so many other people have a very similar concern, right? So my firm, right, over the last, call it 25 years, we've created this methodology to really help really create a game, make it fun, but it's also based on science, it's based on statistics, it's based on math to actually get you optimal results with your money.
Okay, so there are many in the room. Usually this is Sacred Women Plays, but the program is for women, so I'm just going to be a little out there, so I apologize to the men if this offends them in any way, shape, or form. But my first business coach, I keep on fixing my hair because I curl it too much, so I'm sorry. So my first business coach said to me, not to me, to us, the group, nobody here from that coaching program, she said, when you masturbate, think about your business. Because there's a relationship, Tatiana, between sex and money and that creation. So I would love to know your approach or the way you think about between sex and business and money.
Yeah, I love this topic. So the reality is sex, money, business, it's all the same thing. Why? Okay, so how many of y'all want to up-level your business? Awesome, right? So how many of you want to have juicy sex lives? Juicier. Juicier? Okay, we're already there. Okay, great. So what I'm going to offer you right now is just this question to look at the areas that are limiting, that are challenging in one area or the other. Okay? In all likelihood, that same challenge is showing up in the other area. The thing that comes up when I do my coaching work is there's a lot of shame around all this stuff we talked about, right? Money, sex, like money and sex are like, people don't want to talk about. But once we can kind of unravel the shame and get deeper into it, you'll start noticing things. And this is where help and getting your own coaching really can support you in seeing those answers. For one thing for me that opened up was asking for what I want. So it showed up in my sex life, where I was just kind of like going with the flow, with whatever was being offered by my partner, and I'd be like, okay, whatever, I'll go with that. I'll sacrifice my needs for what he wants. What I realized was actually I don't have to do that, and I can actually express what I want. In fact, I can ask for what I want. And that was such a huge breakthrough for me. And once I had that, I started asking for what I wanted in my business. And suddenly, both of them were mutually reinforcing, helping each other. And the more you have one, the more you get of the other, and it's just like more money, more sex. It's like awesome. So.
Isn't that a great way to end the Okay, so I've asked them to offer you something juicy, delicious, and what are you going to offer them?
Sure. I'll have a follow-up tomorrow. I have 3 events, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'll leave the details to the email. But other than that, if you want to come in and spend an hour with me, and we'll sit down and really get connected. And just talk about what's in your heart, what's been working for you, what's not been working for you, what's your big vision, what's your goals, what's your dreams, and what's standing in the way of that. How does this pattern show up in your life? We'll get a really deep, connected conversation. And from there, I can come up with an option of several different ways that we can possibly work together to help you, let go of who you're not, what you've taken on in life, step up and claim and own more and more of who you really are, and then ultimately, come home and live more from here, more loving and enjoying your life.
And that's free. So take advantage of it. And so while my beautiful Nicole is going to pass the forms around, and then you can give them to Kell and ask him questions and talk to him. Brett, what are you going to offer them?
Yeah, so there are 2 things. One is a session, so we can do a call and just have a conversation, right? Kind of, you'll share with me a little about what it is you're looking for, what you're interested in when it comes to your personal finances and money, and I'll share with you a little more insight into what I think would help in your specific situation, right? So no obligation from there. The second thing is, I mentioned this financial balance scorecard. So if you fill out, I think it's between 10 to 12 pieces of data, we can actually look at where you score, in these 15 different areas. So, both of these things are complementary, for sexy, wealthy rebel. Did I say it right? Yes. Oh, I said it wrong. Wealthy, sexy rebel. Wealthy, sexy rebel.
And, seriously, in all honesty, for me, there's anxiety. Oh my God, this is just so hard. I don't want to talk about my money with somebody what are they going to say? They're going to judge me. Put that aside, just have a consultation, see where you are, and then make a decision from there. Don't let I don't know if you feel anxiety like me, but don't let that stop you from talking to Brett. And Bill, what are you going to give us?
Yeah, so I have some workshops coming up. So it's a workshop I host called Up Level Your Life. And so I have 2 upcoming dates, and I'm giving you free tickets to my event. It's usually $30. And basically at this event, we get really clear on your vision. We get clear on what it is you want to accomplish. What do you want to do this year in your life, in your relationships, in your business? And I'm equal parts vision and equal parts implementation. So we're going to work on actual, really practical tools to hone in on how to make that happen. It's a really powerful workshop. I've had a couple people in the audience have been to my workshop in the past. I've gotten really great feedback. So if you want to just get clear on if you want to achieve big things, come to my workshop.
I'm gonna go because I don't know why I haven't been invited in the past, but I'm inviting myself. So, wasn't this amazing? I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for this. This was really delicious. And now, if you guys, strong men, could move the chairs over there.